everyone, my name is Eliza. I am a real-life startup tech founder, and my channel has content all about how to do a startup effectively, including reviewing episodes of Shark Tank and Dragon's Den, and anything and everything startups. So if you are interested in the entrepreneurship lifestyle, hit like and subscribe for more content. So let's get into today. I thought I would answer some classic startup questions. So I found this Reddit post. It's from a couple years ago, but the questions are pretty good. And so I thought I would read the post and then I would answer the questions that they ask, because people deserve to know how to do these things. It's hard to start out on your own, and I'm here to help in any way I can. Like a sort of startup fairy godmother. Okay, so I'm going to read this Reddit post and then I'm going to answer the questions. Basic startup noob list of questions, so newbie. I have a few ideas that I plan to start a business with, but I have practically no experience whatsoever. I have a few specific questions that I've listed below and would gladly appreciate any help or advice. Thank you. Number 1, how do I get investment and investors? I am aiming for around a couple thousand to start off with, creating prototypes and planning things out. 2, how do I approach companies? One of my ideas will require cooperation with grocery stores. How should I ask them to try my idea? 3, security of idea. How should I protect my idea while finding help and approaching companies? Any suggestions for how I can prevent someone from stealing my idea? And then 4, any other tips will be greatly appreciated. So, before I get into any of these 3, I think the number 1 advice I would have is to choose one of your investment ideas and move forward with that. Trying to do multiple at once is very difficult, and that's why the validation stage of an idea is so important. So what you're going to want to do to validate your idea is to find the customers, the people who your idea is for, and kind of do what's called a user interview of several of these people to really suss out whether they want a product like yours, whether they will pay for a product like yours, and whether there's anything else out there that currently solves this problem for them. I will probably do a separate video on user interviews at some other point in time, because it's quite in-depth and requires a lot. But validate, choose one idea to go with. The first question is about how to get investment and investors. So I think the first advice I would give, and in fact I would give this advice even if you weren't right now seeking investment, is to prepare 2 main things. The first is a pitch deck. So you want to have a PowerPoint presentation or some sort of slideshow depicting all the most important aspects of your company. This includes the problem, the solution, the competitive landscape, your roadmap going forward, what you would use investment money for. And this sort of really clarifies your startup to you in the first place so that you don't go off track with your strategy. Keeps you really focused on what you're trying to do, because it's very easy to miss the mark on that. The second thing is any kind of video or some sort of way to demonstrate your product. Even if your product doesn't exist, it's amazing what you can do with drawings. It's amazing what you can do with kind of photoshopped images that would take you from screen to screen of an app, or some sort of basic model, and then you sort of fake it just to show how it works. Dropbox very famously did a demo video of itself and how it worked. It was actually just made up of screenshots. He hadn't coded anything yet, but it proved the idea of the product and people really connected with it, and that's how he started to get traction. This leads me to my next point, which is that traction of any kind is going to attract investors. So any kind of usage, I mean, sales is like the gold star, but you're unlikely to get sales right away. But any kind of traction you can get. So that's people using it, even if it's for free. That's people, you know, promising to buy a certain amount when it's on the market. It could be if you're desperate, people just saying that they have a need for the product. Just anything that you can to show solid numbers that this is a desirable product for your customers. And then the last thing I would say specifically for getting investors is that most will have a niche. A lot of them have, say, a cryptocurrency niche, an agriculture niche. So if you can figure out where your idea, where your company fits in that niche, you can really quickly find the investors who are most likely to get you and your idea and your product. And so you kind of make steps there. I would also say that investors really like to hear from you before you actually need investment. So even if you don't feel like you're at the level required to ask them for money yet, it's pretty good to introduce yourself, say, here's what I am, here's what I'm doing, and then come back around in 6 months and say, here's my progress. Maybe now is a good time for investment. So it's good to establish those relationships early. Okay, so the second one is all about how to approach companies. So if you have any kind of product that is what's called a B2B product, a business to business product or service, you can't just blast an Instagram ad for everyone to buy, because you're not a consumer product, you're for a business. So how do you get in the door? It's frankly one of the most difficult parts. So the first thing, if there's anyone you know who is in this world at all, just network as much as possible with people who you know, or people who can introduce you to people in the industry. I think this says grocery stores. Maybe you know the cashier at your local grocery store, the manager. It can be as simple as that. Anyone who has insider knowledge and can get you that little bit of social proof, as they say, which is basically just someone vouching that you're good and not out to scam or have nefarious purposes, is a huge help. Like before, the thing I said about the video is going to be very helpful, because if you do get into the room with these people and you do get to have a meeting, showing the video of how this product works is a really good way to emphasize your benefit. And then leading on from that, you should be really clear, if at all possible, about the benefit that your product would have for these companies. So if it's a grocery store, maybe it could be this product speeds up checkout times by 30%, you know, and that conveys a real value. Especially if it can be like a monetary value, if they can get a really good sense of how much money they could either save or how much more revenue they can make using your product, that's going to be really, really key for them. So try to have that number fleshed out as much as possible. Obviously have it be a justifiable number, don't promise the moon, but yeah, any kind of number is going to be super helpful. The last thing I would suggest is, if you can at all offer some kind of free pilot program, at least initially, you've got to get in the door somehow. So if you can say, you know, I will install 6 of these machines in your registers for free for 6 months, and we'll see how it goes from there. That's some traction. Even if you're not making money, you can get great data, and that data can go to show investors and make money there, and you can go to other grocery stores and show how much benefit you did from this free pilot. So it is something that you really want to consider. So the third thing they asked was about IP and people stealing your idea. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can go down the trademark and patent route. Trademarks, I would pretty much always recommend, because you can trademark your brand, and that can be really, really valuable. Patents is a different story. It's much more expensive, much more intense. you need a very high threshold of what is considered a patentable idea or product. So I don't recommend it for anyone. I would have to know more specifics about what you were doing, and also there's pros and cons to patents in general. So the trademark, definitely. Patent, maybe. I would also say that the best way to protect yourself is to be faster, more nimble, and more innovative than anyone else. Basically, what you want to have happen is that you create some brilliant idea or product, put it in the market, it starts gaining traction, and by the time anyone else comes in and copies you, you're already on to the next thing. You're already introducing your new line of products. So even if you have an idea right now, try to already think ahead to your next 2 to 3 potential products that you might release, so that you are already diversified. You're already a brand with many different things in it. You're not relying on one thing that can be undercut by someone else. And just keep pushing forward, and there's no way that just a mere copycat who isn't coming up with their own ideas is going to be able to keep up with you. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. I hope Echo Spirits YT, I mean, I don't know if you'll see this ever, but thank you for posting a Reddit post. If you want more content like this, remember to like and subscribe and share this video with any entrepreneurs that you may know. And that's it. Thank you so much. Bye.